her new friend worked. I put down the spatula, and we talked about hours and how she'd get there. She promised to keep it under 15 hours a week and said the friend's mom could drive them both. I said yes, but made her promise to keep her grades up when school started. She actually jumped up and hugged me quick before running to text her friends. 3 days later, Ken called to tell me the prosecutor was closing Jacob's case since he'd completed all the plea requirements. No jail time, but he'd have a record that would follow him forever. I found Bristol doing homework at the kitchen table and told her the news quietly. She stopped writing and stared at her notebook for a long time. Then she asked if she could go to her room, and I said sure. I heard her door close softly, not the usual slam. August came fast, and we sat at the computer together picking classes for junior year. She scrolled through electives and stopped at drama club, asking if she could join. I said of course, and watched her type her name on the sign-up sheet. She picked creative writing too, and seemed excited about the teacher everyone said was cool. We printed out her schedule, and she stuck it on the fridge with a magnet. Her first day at the ice cream shop went well, and she came home with chocolate sauce on her shirt and $20 in tips. She showed me how to work the soft serve machine by demonstrating with a spoon and her hands. The other girls from work came over that weekend, and they spent hours in her room laughing about customers and practicing for drama auditions. One evening after dinner, Bristol stayed at the table instead of disappearing to her room. She picked at her placemat and said therapy had been talking about healthy relationships and warning signs. She told me she understood now how keeping secrets and not having other friends were red flags she'd missed. She said Jacob had convinced her that nobody would understand their connection. I just listened without interrupting. She talked for maybe 10 minutes about boundaries and trust before going to do dishes without being asked. The last week of August, I suggested we go to the lake for a weekend before school started. She looked surprised but said, okay. We packed the car with fishing poles and snacks and drove 2 hours north. At the lake, she actually left her phone in the cabin and helped me carry the tackle box to the dock. We sat there for hours not really talking, just casting lines and reeling them in. She squealed when something tugged her line, and I helped her reel in a decent-sized bass. She held it up for a picture, smiling real and wide for the first time since Mother's Day. We threw it back and kept fishing until sunset. The week before school started, I was reading in the living room when Bristol came downstairs in her pajamas. She stood there for a second like she was deciding something. Then she walked over and gave me a quick hug. Good night. Not a long, dramatic thing, just a normal daughter hugging her dad before bed. She smelled like the vanilla lotion her mom used to buy. I said goodnight and she went upstairs. We weren't fixed, and probably never would be completely. But we were still here, still trying, still a family that had survived something terrible. The next morning she made eggs again, and we talked about her work schedule and which supplies she still needed for school. Normal stuff that felt like the biggest gift in the world. Well, that's gonna do it for now. Thanks for just being here and exploring all these curious details with me. Always enjoy sharing this time with you. Subscribe for more content like this.